Okay, folks, we'll get started. I wanted to welcome our first candidate, Bridget Carberry Montgomery. She's running for re-election, Urbandale City Council. So again, she's seeking her second term. Also, she was endorsed candidate of ours last year when she ran for the Iowa House. So we know a little bit about Bridget, and she's also, of course, a member of the coalition. And with that short introduction, Bridget, I'm going to give it to you, and you have 5 minutes to talk about yourself and your campaign. Then Patrick Borchak-Benzone will ask you 3 questions, and then we'll give you a hard stop at 15 minutes. So,
Okay.
Bridget, the floor is yours.
Sounds great. Sounds great. It's great to see all of you. I think I know all of you or have met you, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me tonight. Like Mitch said, I am seeking my second term on the Urbandale City Council. Time has really flown by. It's hard to believe that I am on the ballot again. But, 3 months into office, COVID hit. And so that kind of threw the whole world upside down and inside out. And so I kind of feel like I haven't gotten a full term, even though I've been on the council for almost 4 years. It just, that COVID focus really set us back. Who is that dog? Is that Mark Cooper?
That is, yes.
It's hard to concentrate with that little cutie. Anyway, so there's just a lot of things that I still think that we need to do, and we have the momentum to do in Urbandale. It was really, I last year when I ran for House, I ran exactly the campaign I wanted to run. I was very proud of the campaign, but there's just nothing you can do when you're up against the financial resources of the Iowa Republican Party right now. So that stung. It still just stings a little bit, but I've really realized that I am in the best position right now to really make a difference in the lives of Urbandalians, my constituents, folks in Central Iowa, and beyond. So I am really focused on my council service and running for re-elections. I have no intention of running for the state house anytime in the next few cycles, maybe never. That was a big lift. Anyway, I'm really proud of some of the things that we've started in Urbandale. We've gotten to the Neighborhood Finance Corporation to start lending in Urbandale. Affordable housing is a huge priority of mine. And while the Neighborhood Finance Corporation, the focus is more on neighborhood revitalization and stabilization, I think it also goes hand in hand with preserving affordable housing. Getting affordable single family construction or multifamily construction is really, really hard when you're not a community like Des Moines that has the staff and the federal resources to implement those projects. So at every opportunity, I beat that to our staff, and they have brought us some interesting proposals, nothing which has panned out yet, but we've gotten them thinking outside the box. I'm also really proud of the focus on environmental issues that we've taken as a council. We're looking at making our entire fleet of vehicles electric or hybrid, at least where that's reasonable. It's just so hard to get your hands on vehicles right now, especially police cars and things like that. So we're getting what we can. There's just a lot of work I still want to do. There's a lot of, I think there's some conflict in our community, geographic conflict between the East and the West, and conflict's kind of a tough word, but that came out during the bond referendum election that we had this spring. A lot of East versus West and us versus them. And, I think it's something that we might not have seen quite so ugly a few years ago, but things are, it's sad where we're at, where it's okay to say things out loud now that 5 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe we never would have said out loud. So I just feel like I have a lot more to offer my community. I'm the only Dallas County member of the council. This is where our growth is happening in this part of the community. There's still a lot of work I want to see in our parks department, library, really reaching out and getting more invested in our human services and social services as we get close to hitting the 50,000 population mark, where we're going to have to be doing a lot more because of the HUD designation that we'll receive at 50,000.
Bridget,
I could talk for a really long time, but
no, that's all right. But we're going to give you some more opportunities here shortly. We're going to go to some questions from our chair of our committee, our election endorsement committee, Patrick Borchak-Benzon. Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mitch. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you too.
So we sent you the questionnaire. Thank you for providing your answers. So question 3B of that questionnaire asked you how you would erase the stigma of affordable housing. You indicated that we need to make sure that affordable housing is integrated throughout the community and not just in the older parts of town. And you said that we need to find ways to support and subsidize projects to ensure high quality development with amenities so people will choose to live in Urbandale. And then just a couple moments ago, you mentioned that you're looking at proposals to think outside the box to address this issue as well. Can you elaborate a little bit on what those ways you're looking for, and maybe some of what the proposals that you would like to see come to fruition in this aspect?
Well, I mean, I have been involved in affordable housing my entire adult life. I went to graduate school for urban and regional planning with a focus on affordable housing development. And, it's hard. It's really hard to do. And by its nature, there's conflict a lot of times with the community, the neighbors. And I was already committed to running for city council, but Urbandale has had the opportunity to grant a rezoning to a property, which is now the Lillis Lofts, just next to IHOP at Merle Hay Mall. And our council at that time, which was prior to the 100% turnover that we've seen since 2019, voted not to rezone the property. And I just think that was a horrible look for Urbandale. We left $6 million or something, $7 million in tax credits on the table because the city council was just being stubborn, in my opinion. They did come back around and after a year and approve the rezoning, but that was a year that we didn't have that project in Urbandale. I would like to see the problem in the older part of Urbandale where property values are lower is that there's just not a lot of vacant ground. So I would like to see us, do some creative things. The accessory dwelling units that the AARP and Home Inc., some other organizations piloted in Des Moines. I'd love to be the suburban pilot for that. I think we have some areas where we could do some detached accessory dwelling units in some of our eastern neighborhoods that might have like a side lot or something like that. That's a possibility. I'm also involved with the Habitat for Humanity advisory committee. And they're starting. They broke ground a couple weeks ago on some duplexes, owner-occupied duplexes in Ankeny. I think that's something that we could look at for affordable home ownership opportunities. And it's really trying to figure out how to get, the tax credit projects to score well enough in your community, because that's really how the projects are getting developed right now. So I'm actually not really able to discuss some of the projects that have been brought to us. Unfortunately, those were confidential, but we've got our staff really thinking outside of the box of reuse of buildings that are not being fully utilized to their capacity. So that's an exciting way in a community that's as built out as Urbandale is in Polk County.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question. So on the questionnaire, question number 6 asked you what new gun safety measures you'd support to protect our community. You shared with us some of the work you've done, which shows us that this is an important issue to you, but you did stop a little bit short of telling us what new gun safety measures you would support. So could you do that now?
Well, there's nothing that we really can do according to the state law right now. If there's ways that every town or other organizations figure out in our code that we can make local legislation to impact gun violence, I would be 100% in support of it. But they've really tied our hands with the constitutional amendment of strict scrutiny. And I got it's not that hard to do, but I got really twisted up with former Senator Jake Chapman when he was proposing limitations or no limitations on carrying in public facilities, meaning libraries, city halls, things like that. I worked for the city of Des Moines for over 9 years, and I was, myself and my family were personally threatened at a city council meeting. And I feel very strongly that guns do not belong in city halls and other public facilities. There's nothing like property rights to get people really, really irrational. And, Tom Vilsack is where he's at today because someone, shot the former mayor of Mount Pleasant, Iowa. So gun safety in our public facilities is something that I'm always going to care about. But unfortunately, our hands are tied by the governor and our legislature. When we win back the legislature, I will be advocating for us to roll back some of the legislation. I think we need, red flag laws, things like
Bridget,
that.
Excuse me, Bridget, Patrick, we have 1 minute remaining.
Okay.
Okay, well, at this point, since we have just 1 minute remaining, why don't I just give you the rest of the time to tell us why we should endorse you?
Well, I think that, I'm a real leader on the Urbandale City Council. We are now a majority progressive, super majority progressive city council. And no one would have thought that in 6 or 7 years ago. People even 2 years ago
Bridget, we have 30 seconds remaining.
Said there's no way that Urbandale elects 2 women to the city council. Now we have 2 women, 4 Democrats, and there's just a lot of work left to do on all the issues that I know are important to me and are important to your members. So I would hope you would consider supporting me again this year as I seek reelection to the Urbandale City Council.
Bridget, thank you very much. And we'll be replaying these interviews this weekend,
Okay,
starting on Saturday. And our members will be voting starting next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. And our voting will go on for 24 hours like we did the previous month and until Wednesday at 7. So we encourage everyone to listen over the weekend and then, of course, vote starting next Tuesday night at 7. And Bridget, thank you again very much for your time. And we'll let you know by next Thursday morning if you have our official endorsement or not.
if